I am going to give you my honest opinion about the Tesla Model Y. I had a Tesla Model Y from 2022 until 2025. I had never driven an electric car prior to that point. In fact, I didn't even test drive this one. I just got it because the reviews are so good for it. But what is it really like? I'll tell you in this video. My circumstances, just so you know, in terms of so you can make a judgment call on these things. Married with two children, two young children, particularly at the time of getting the car, which meant I had a big pram in the back, I had muddy boots, I had that type of thing. So I'm telling you this because in particular storage was a big thing. At the time of getting it as well, range anxiety was definitely a thing. I'll let you know now, by the end of it I didn't have range anxiety. I was more than happy with the range of it. But that is one of the reasons I went for the Tesla Model Y, is because at the time, I think when I got it, the range was, 320, 330 miles was available to it. And that did drop over time, but it wasn't too bad. It went just below 300 miles. But some of them, back then, 3 years ago, they're only offering range of like 100, 150, 180 miles. Now, though, things have moved on and things have improved across all the cars in the market. I like my cars, which is why I went for the Tesla, because I like a car that's fast. Okay, so my car history is I've had Vauxhall Astras and some other Vauxhalls or Opals, depending where you are in the world. I've also had a Renault Megane, which is absolutely terrible. I have had a Nissan 350Z, which is a 3.5 litre V6. So big, fast, loud, powerful car. I like fast cars. I like nice cars. So I'm not looking for just something that's going to be just the most basic car in the world or anything like that. I want something that's got a little bit of excitement. And the Tesla had that. I leased the Tesla. I leased it because, well, I've never leased it before. Let's be clear. I just didn't know what that was all about. So I leased it. But the reason being is because I didn't know what the resale value of the Tesla was going to be. Because at the time of purchase, it would have been about £60,000. So I was very concerned about selling an electric car 3 years later. Because, again, back then I felt the technology is still quite new. I think the market's probably steadied out a lot more now. People are more used to electric cars. Anyway, let me tell you about my opinions of the car, the good, the bad, and essentially would I recommend buying one. The Tesla turned up, and the first thing is I had to be shown how to get into it because the handles are a bit different to what you'd expect from a normal handle. Also had to get out of it. To get out of it, there's a little button you need to press. Which always confuses any new passenger I have in there. My first impressions of actually driving it, though, is that once I got used to driving it, which didn't take very long, I thought it was very nice. So it's got the thing where you put your foot down to accelerate, but when you pull your foot up, it also brakes for you and regenerates that energy, goes into the car and helps with the battery. So it's a nice feature. Yeah, I got used to that only in a couple of minutes. It took no effort really to get used to that. I love the size of the car for the family. The boot, the trunk as you might call it, is massive. Okay, so and also you can lift it up and you've got space underneath it. You've got cubby holes on either side, which are really good for storage as well. So no issues with the space. The parcel shelf, awful, absolutely terrible. Had to remove that straight away. That went in the garage. It doesn't go up very well. You have to fold it in a really strange way. Yeah, it's terrible. So that went in the garage. Done with that. There's also space at the front in the frunk, the front trunk. So that's where I kept the cable for charging it. Also, it's good because when we went away, we need that extra bit of storage. Then that was a good place to put coats and things I needed easy access to if we got to a service station. So it's a nice little feature. Plenty of storage space in the back as well. So yeah, and it was comfortable. It was very comfortable. Seats excellent. It's I think it's a vegan leather, but clean very easily. Like I say, two young children, so there's always a spillage or a mess in the back. So in terms of looking after it, for maintaining and cleaning it, great, no issues. But I did buy seat covers, which helped. Yeah, these things I bought from, they weren't official ones, not the official Tesla ones, but I bought seat covers. They helped a lot, just keeping it cleaner. I went on the back of seats as well, so I recommend spending a little bit of money on those. You can pick them up often second hand on Facebook Marketplace, so look into those. Charging, no problems with charging, but my circumstances are as follows. I charged my car at home 99% of the time. I have a driveway, I got a charging point installed at home, and I charge it overnight. It used to take about 7 or 8 hours to do a full charge. Also, I'm with Octopus Energy, and with Octopus Energy they could do special smart charging, so it charges it overnight at a much cheaper rate. So highly recommend that. So if you're going to do that, look into your energy company and see if they do a cheap charging overnight. I can't remember what the rates were, but I think it was like during the day my electricity is about 40 pence or 38 pence. Overnight on the special tariff for the car, I think it's about 7 or 8 pence for charging. And when it came to the actual bills for my Octopus Energy, the charging of the car was by far the most energy used product in the house. So it is well and truly worth looking into. Because of that, it means that charging is very cheap. The few times I did charge when I was away, it was fine. It was absolutely fine. Over the years, it got better and better as well. I went to some places where the charging point didn't work, but all the other times I've done it, I've had no major problems. There was one time I was at a supermarket where I didn't know which was the fast charger and which was the slow charger, and I plugged in, I got the slow charger, and I went to move, but someone else came along, and then it was all a bit messy. It was. Also, when I've charged at some service points, it's been really fast. So I've charged at proper Tesla charging points, and I've also charged at some other branded ones as well, which offer the really fast one, but you can plug in, tap your credit card, or use an app if you have to. Go on into the service station, use the facilities, and come back, sit around and wait for another 10-15 minutes, and then you've got pretty much a full tank of charge. So yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it. Also, if you're going to be using it more for kind of charging when you're away, you're going to get used to these things. You just know how long it takes and where's good and where's not good and so forth. But as I say, about 99% of my charging was done at home. Things I liked about the car, I love the acceleration of it. It is so fast. So fast. As I say, I had a Nissan 350Z, a V6 3.5 litre, and that was fast, yeah? The Tesla, faster. It is unbelievably fast. It is comfortable. I said, it's comfortable. Sits in a driving position, armrest. It's very comfortable as a driver and as a passenger. The controls, so the voice activation can be quite good as well. So I'll talk a bit more about that later on when I'm talking about things that are not so good. Visibility is very good. There's no real blind spots. The entertainment system, again, the actual sound quality from playing music was great. Spotify works on it. YouTube Music works on it. YouTube Music didn't used to work, but it does now. So YouTube Music, Spotify, that works. iTunes or whatever it's called, that works. Not that I ever used it. Also really like that you can watch YouTube and Netflix on there. Now, I didn't do that often, but sometimes I might go to the big shop, supermarket. My wife might go in. The children will be in the back and they're a bit tired. So I just put YouTube on and I stay in the car with the children. We watch YouTube for 20-30 minutes, however long it took my wife to do the shopping. Children were happy. So that type of functionality I thought was really good. The cameras all around, so reversing camera is excellent, really good. Also beeps, so that when you're reversing, you know that someone's coming and walking near your car. The outside of the car, it makes a noise when you're reversing because the Tesla's quiet. The Tesla's very quiet. So the problem with it being quiet is that people don't hear your car. When you've got it in reverse, it makes a noise. It makes a noise so people around you can hear your car. Yeah, it's a nice little feature. So I had no concerns about that. So no concerns with reversing or parking. The cameras all around as well were good from a Sentry point of view. So you can turn Sentry on, which will record everything. And that's really good because you can then view the footage and see if someone's been near your car. Also, if someone's around your car for a bit too long, it'll flash the lights for them. It automatically records. Using things such as Sentry, though, does use up your battery more, which makes sense because it's using it up, as it would do with anything. So it is something you do need to consider and bear in mind. I love that in the winter, when it's cold outside, I can use the app and I can tell it to warm up the car. So defrost the windows, get the seat warm, get the steering wheel warm for me as well because that's heated, and then the car's ready for me to go. I'm not scraping at the window or anything. That's really good. the bad things about the Tesla. The first bad thing is a quite unique one. I got grit, so little bits of stone, in between the brake pad and the wheel, and it made the loudest noise in the world ever. Now, this could happen to anyone in any car, so it's not a Tesla thing. I've never had it happen in any of my cars, yet with the Tesla, I think it happened 5 times in 3 years. So I don't know what's happening there, but that was something that was annoying. If you do ever get a bit of grit in there, and I rang up Tesla to say, well, what on earth do I do? You need to drive around your car in a figure of 8. So go around in a figure of 8, figure of 8, figure of 8, and then do the other way. Just make sure you're doing both sides, and eventually that little bit of stone will get released, and then everything will be perfect. But whilst you're driving around in it, you have the loudest scraping sound in the world ever, and it's awful. Another thing I didn't like is that the alloys got scuffed. I contacted Tesla and I said, I'd like to, get my alloys refurbished, which is what I've done on other cars. So absolutely normal thing to do. Tesla quoted me £3,500 to get them fixed. Turns out they weren't going to fix them, just going to replace all 4 alloys. They didn't initially tell me that. But anyway, that's too much money. Don't want to do that. I then contacted official Tesla auto body parts, Tesla fixer in the area. And they said, no, we won't touch it. We will not touch alloys. There could be damage to the alloys which affects the integrity. There wasn't damage to the alloys that affected the integrity of them. It was just a bit of scuffing. That was all. Anyway, they wouldn't touch them. I contacted another company that deal with alloys, and they were all happy to take them until I said it's a Tesla Model Y, and they said, oh, no, we won't touch those because Tesla won't let us touch them. I was getting worried by this point. I then contacted another garage and I said, look, Tesla Model Y, scuffed wheels, and they said, yeah, sure, bring them down. And they look perfect, look better than they did originally. Something else I didn't like was the screen. Some of the things you have to do on the screen are too far away. It is a long reach whilst you're driving to then go all the way over and touch a part of a screen. So I don't like that. I had it also happen to me where the screen turned off, or should I say never turned on. Now you might be thinking, well, is that a major problem? Yes, because the screen has the speedometer on it. So you're not legally allowed to drive without that screen turning on. That is where it tells you that you're doing 30 miles an hour or whatever speed you're doing. But there's a solution for it. I've got a separate video for a solution. The solution, essentially, you hold down 2 knobs or buttons on your steering wheel for a certain amount of time and it does a whole reboot on it. My video on that is quite popular because obviously it's affecting quite a lot of people. Something else that I absolutely hated on the Tesla, and it's such a strange one. It's the windscreen wipers. I hated them. I didn't like the control for them. The automatic sensor just never seemed right. It always seems right on all of my other cars, or almost right. On the Tesla, it never seemed right. It would turn on randomly on a perfect sunny day. I can never get the speeds right. Also, to make the adjustment to it, you've got to tap it to turn it on, and then there's controls on the screen that you need to go through, which I don't want to go through because I'm trying to drive my car. You can tap it and then adjust it on the knob on your steering wheel. But look, Tesla, windscreen wipers should not be complex. It should not be something that's distracting. It should be easy to use. You've made it difficult, and it really annoyed me. I had another problem as well. This only happened once, really. A couple of times actually. I had problems with the headlights. I had the headlights as automatic to come on. Now, if you want to change them so they're permanently on, you have to go through menu settings. You can't just turn a button or press a button or something. You've got to go through menus. Remember, you're driving at this point in time. So the headlights were due to come on automatically. I was driving, and then suddenly there's a thunderstorm out of nowhere. And you've been in these situations. You're driving on a motorway at 70 miles an hour, and then suddenly just, the rain comes down out of nowhere. You're suddenly going down to 40 miles an hour. And my headlights didn't come on. So I'm focusing on the road whilst on a motorway, whilst dropping down my speed a lot. I need to turn the headlights on. I'm not going through a menu system. So I'm going to use the voice activation, and I'll be saying, turn on the lights. And when I told it to turn on the lights, it turned on the internal lights in my car, which was really not helpful. And then I was like, turn on the headlights, and it didn't recognize my command. And then I had to kind of go through a menu whilst trying to drive, and heavy rain, and it's such a basic feature. Again, on a Vauxhall Astra I had, I would just turn something. In fact, just turn something on my little indicator knob thing and just go, there you go, problem solved. Why have they made it so complex is beyond me. The navigation is good. I don't know what they're actually using for navigation. It's not Google. They're using something else. I did hear they're using Apple Maps or something like that for navigation. Navigation was good, but it wasn't perfect. Definitely not as good as Google Maps. We got caught out with traffic incidents a few times where Google would have told us differently. Also, it was tell us to turn off when we're not meant to turn off, or to go straight ahead at a junction when we should have been turning off. So it gave us some wrong commands on times. But generally speaking, it was fine 95% of the time. It's just Google's better. So there you go, something to bear in mind. You have to pay a subscription model as well for lots of extra features. Now, I can't remember exactly what's on the subscription model, but it did cost me £9.99 a month on top of whatever I was paying for the car to be able to get access to a lot of features. And I can't moan at Tesla too much for that because it looks like everyone's doing that. Would I recommend a Tesla Model Y? Yes. Yes, I would. I got the Tesla Model Y, what was it, 2022. Back then, it was the best car on the market. That was an electric car. It had amazing range on it, amazing acceleration. BMW, Mercedes, all of those weren't quite up to the same level, in my opinion, or certainly based on the reviews. There wasn't really that many Chinese ones on the market. Things have changed. So would I recommend the Tesla? Yes, but I would recommend you see what the other ones are doing now. So back then, a range of a car might be 100 miles or 150 miles, and the Tesla was offering, I think, 320, 330 miles, which is incredible. But now a lot of them are offering that type of range. There's the new Renault 5 electric car, which is a lot smaller, but looks absolutely incredible. BYD, that Chinese firm, along with lots of other Chinese ones, have brought out electric cars as well, which all got incredible performance on them. So I would happily have a Tesla Model Y, especially if they fix those problems of the windscreen wiper being annoying and the lights being annoying. I would really happily have one. But I would definitely look at what else is out there. Though the Tesla did seem, and I think it still is, good value for money compared to the other ones on the market. So overall, would I get one? Yes. Would my wife get one? Absolutely. She liked it a lot more than I did. Anyway, I hope that this review / honest opinion of the Tesla has helped you in your decision making. Check them out. See what you think.